think it's going to start now. Okay. All right. So as I was saying, you know, if you have that energy flow of gratitude, it drives, it's a driving force, and you just need to give it a direction. So let's start with the benefits of gratitude. It has an increased self-confidence and self-esteem. You feel more abundant. People multiply in value. You feel happier and healthier. Life becomes simpler. Physical and mental health improves. You stop comparing yourself to others. More active. You become more active rather than reactive. It reduces pain, releases toxic emotions, reduces stress, reduces cardiac disease, inflammation, and neurodegeneration, depression, anxiety, and burnout, brings hope, evokes positivity with terminal illness, improves sleep-wake cycle, and helps with insomnia, eating disorders, and substance abuse. So just to touch on a few of those and flesh it out a little bit, if you have a gratitude or an attitude of gratitude, you start noticing things around you, and you less inclined to look at other people's stuff, and you're more inclined to look internally and see what is immediately around you. So you start becoming a little bit more confident because you're not comparing yourself as much as what you could if you weren't in an attitude or had an attitude of gratitude. In the sense of feeling more abundant, you start realizing just everything you have. And this mindfulness becomes quite apparent in gratitude because you start noticing things and in the present. People around you will multiply in value because when you're giving with appreciation, and when you're giving and feel appreciated, you give in abundance and you receive in abundance. So it literally physically makes you feel happier and healthier. And I'll touch on that a little bit, Nana. Life becomes simpler only because you don't need to compare everything. There's no cloud of judgment. Sort of worry is less because you're not focused on everything out there. And your physical mental health improves because of this renewed energy, because you have a different driving force. And as I say, you stop comparing yourself to others. Then more, you're now actively involved. So if you're going to make a goal of something, it's going to be more about that goal than a reaction to something that has happened, because you now are aware of what's around you and what you're using. And your reticular activator system, your RAS, is going to pick up more of what it is that you're looking for rather than what you're not looking for, if that makes sense. It reduces pain because of the little bit of science that comes into it. Your happy chemicals will influence your pain threshold. It releases toxic emotions. It reduces stress. As I said, your neurodegeneration. It's quite a personal one for me because I know someone with Alzheimer's, and for them, when they are busy being mindful of their situation around them, what they can be grateful for, what is actually in their life, they literally consciously remembering things, and because they're celebrating those things, it's renewed memories. It also, as I say, it brings hope and positivity when you are not feeling so good or with terminal illnesses, because you're less inclined to worry and you're more inclined to accept when you are in a state of gratitude. I don't know if you've noticed when you go to sleep at night, when you say your prayers or you say your thank yous for the day, you start to feel the sense of safety. So then naturally your sleep-wake cycle improves. And you become mindful again with what you're doing to yourself, what you're eating, what you're using as an out, and if you really need that out or not. So just to touch on the science of gratitude. So we've got the neurotransmitters, and gratitude activates the dopamine, serotonin, and this one I had to actually Google because it's neuropenephrine, and I try to say it correctly, so forgive me if I've messed that word up. But yes, those are the three neurotransmitters. So in terms of reducing your stress on a physical level, those transmitters will be responsible for that. In that, it also changes your whole mind in a sense, because you've got a different mind map, and it's forming different synapses within your mind, creating a completely different life and an expectation that comes. You're less stressed, as with all the benefits that you saw now, on a chemical level, which is highly beneficial to you for all sorts of things. With D, having said that, it improves social psychology as well. So for me, we kind of have a herd mentality as human beings. We socialize, and whether we are quiet or not quiet, we need each other. And this kind of strengthens my whole premise on, if you give, if you give with love, you'll get back with love. If you ask, you shall receive. It's all that kind of social norms. And the thing about that is, if you do something with appreciation, or if you are appreciated, for example, at work, your driving force is tenfold. So you won't feel loath to do anything. You'll actually do it and more. And I think the same on the opposite scale when you give. If you're giving with that appreciation and you want to give, it makes the other person sort of come back to you with wanting to give more. And so it builds and builds, and that energy becomes a lot stronger, and it drives the purpose a lot quicker. So yeah, communities are built in a sense that we've got a goal and similar aspirations, and that becomes stronger and stronger the more we pull in and we get together and we do things. And then this becomes like a pro-social response. It encourages that pro-social response. So that is really cool when it comes to the society we stay in, and how it has a knock-on effect, not just within yourself, but also on the outside. Okay, so I need to highlight the point that it is a practice. It's not something you do one day and then kind of leave it and then the next day, because it is, like I said earlier on, it's changing your whole mindset. So it's about creating that mind map and that existence. So when you're consciously practicing gratitude, you can train the brain to attend selectively to positive emotions and thoughts, therefore reducing anxiety and feelings of apathy. And this is where that mindfulness will come into it. So the more mindful you are of things around you, the more of that mindset you'll start to develop. Okay, so like in the car when you're on your way to work, if you're not someone who listens to the radio, and you could use that time as a quiet time, it's a great time to say thank you and to start noting mental notes on what it is that you are grateful for, and you'll start to see patterns develop. Okay, so how do we start this process? There's a couple of things that you can do. For me, if I've got my diary next to me, my to-do diary, and I just jot down something. So for example, I just journal this way. So I will jot down like the fact that I've had this to eat and this to drink, and maybe I'm like, wow, I really feel good about this. And then I unpack it at a later stage in a bullet journal when I've got time to reflect. But at least if I don't get that time, I've jotted it down so that I can reflect whenever I do get that time. And also it becomes not just a thought, but an action, which strengthens that thinking within your mind. Another way to do this is to visit a person that really meant something to you and treat them to a coffee or give them a gift, or just go there and say, you know what, I really appreciate you. This really highlights the fact that this person is important to you, and you start automatically developing that bond, a stronger bond between you and that person. And it's not just about other people. We're always forgetting about ourselves. And I think that if you can develop a way of self-appreciation, it's very important. And a way you can do that is just sort of little rewards for yourself. If you set a goal, don't see the achievement of that goal as a reward, even though it is a reward in itself. Give yourself that extra something. So really celebrate the moments. So if you've had a hard day at work and you've worked hard, and you come home and you just sit down in the couch and you're kind of like, whoa, really feel yourself sinking into that couch and breathing, because it's a reset. And you need to give yourself time to reset, and you need to appreciate your actions during the day. You need to say, wow, so I really did, and acknowledge what you've done for the world. When you do that, you become better at it, and just in the sense of being mindful of it. So you're like, okay, cool, I really worked hard today. I can do this tomorrow. That can be better. I'm really like so happy that I did this today, or made that person happy, or whatever it is. Really celebrate your successes, and then be present in that feeling and that moment. People tend to kind of shift happy feelings. They kind of push it away and they're like, okay, cool, I'm happy, but yeah. But they don't feel it. They don't sit in that moment. So if you're laughing with your children, really hear yourself laughing. See the smiles on people's faces and the laughter coming out, and hear it. And really be in the moment, because that's acknowledging again. It's an acknowledgement of a reality, and that gives it stronger existence. Then if you, in the beginning especially, so you can do a gratitude challenge. So you get a gratitude buddy, and you say, between us every day, we come up with something that we're grateful for. I've done it with the group now, and I think it's a great way to sort of keep yourself accountable, and to get yourself celebrating together. Then what happens is, after we start finding ourselves in that space of gratitude every day, and it's becoming that mindset, then you can start to seek the patterns, and you can start being mindful of the things that actually bring you joy, because you've taken note, and you haven't just shifted it away, you've taken note, you've been in the moment, you know it brings you joy. You can therefore surround yourself with things that bring you joy more consistently. So when you're around in your house and you're putting things on purpose there to bring you joy, you're remembering gratitude in that, and you're celebrating. And I don't know if you can hear the amount of times I'm saying celebrate, and it's a total shift in becoming positive. And we don't mean positive as in ignoring the negative, because yes, there is fear, and fear exists, and mourning and grief and all those things. However, there needs to be a balance, so that we don't sink into a depression or are completely elevated, that we forget and we store those emotions somewhere where it'll kind of come back to bite us later. So therein exists a balance that we need to kind of get right. And with gratitude, when you find certain things in moments that might seem negative or is negative, you find, okay, but that is benefiting me in this way, and that is benefiting me in that way, and you kind of put it together. It makes the fear less, and the negativity a little bit less. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely. I must say it's very true, yes.
Cool. All right, so now I've just got a little bit of an exercise. Is Michelle still with us?
Yes, I am, Candice.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to start with Michelle, or okay, how do you guys want to do it? So basically, I'm choosing a person and I'm going to tell them why I'm grateful for them, but we can't repeat the same person. So, you know, are you happy that I mean, you guys want to pick?
What do you mean by a certain person? Is it like in the group or somebody else?
So here on the call, I'm going to pick a person and tell them why I am grateful for them. So then you, if it's you, will then pick the next person. So there's 3 of us. So I'm just going to not repeat it. We just need to go in one circle. Do you guys want to start, or are you happy for me just to go?
Yeah, you can go.
All right, cool. So I'm going to go with you, Casper, and then Casper, you can go with, see, I don't know if you and Michelle know each other well enough, but I'm sure. Okay, Michelle,
How about I can say for you, you can maybe say for Casper, because obviously you guys know each other a bit better, and then Casper can say for you. It's fine if we, do you twice. It's not a problem.
are you guys more comfortable with that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think that can work.
All right, cool. Okay, so I'm going to go with you, Casper. I actually want to see you when I do this so that I can speak to your face and in your eyes. There we are. So now I'm not looking at my presentation anymore. I'm looking at you. Okay. Yeah. So I truly appreciate the fact that you spoke to us in that time and you chose to speak, even though you don't really know me in the concept, you jumped on board. And it was, I mean, it wasn't, it cost you time. And I do appreciate that time and what you've had to say and you know, the difference you've made in everybody that has listened so far to your recording. So I do appreciate that, and I thank you so much for making a difference in the world.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that you appreciate it.
Who's to go next?
Michelle, do you want to go?
Sure, I can. So obviously I appreciate you, Candice, for your friendship. It's a truly, I believe, a genuine friendship. We might not see each other often, but when we do, it's kind of, we just pick up where we've left off. I appreciate the fact that you're very mindful of helping others, when opportunities like this come up and, to try and expand businesses and things like that, you always keep people in mind. And I appreciate the fact that the work you do is for the growth of others. It's not selfish work. You always, placing others, maybe not, I don't want to say above yourself, but you've always got the needs of others, in your mind when you're doing things. So I really appreciate that about you. And above all, of course, I appreciate the friendship that I have with you, because it's a truly genuine friendship.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Casper, you can go.
Yes, and with you, Candice, I'm grateful for the work you do. I mean, for this group and for everything you do, I can see and I can pick up your heart in that. So I'm grateful. Like Michelle said, it is the work you do and the uplifting of people. So yeah, for me, I'm grateful for that, because we as humans are so selfish and we just want to do our own thing. And when you get or you meet a person that are willing to go a step further and create a group and try to uplift people by what you do, yes, for me, I'm so grateful for that, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, and I'm gonna compliment Michelle. as well, because I think I did Casper, but not Michelle, and no one's done Michelle, right?
Yes, yeah, nobody done Michelle.
Okay, so I appreciate, I can't see you, so I'm just going to kind of blank stare and try and visualize you in my mind. Michelle, I truly appreciate our friendship. Ah, there we are. Hello. That's much better. I do appreciate our friendship. We always seem to pick up on the, where we left off. We're very comfortable with each other. And we both always trying to improve each other, which is really, really something I appreciate about you. You're always listening to me when I'm like really like maybe down or uncertain, and then you kind of joke with me and you're like, hey, whatever. And I mean, it's really cool. And we've had some good times together and shared with our children. And I love those moments, and I appreciate you. I really do. Mwah.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Okay, cool. So the nice thing about when you are complimenting other people is that you recognize what you've just recognized in other people is already in you. So when you've thanked everybody and when you saw those things in everybody, you actually seeing it in you as well. So you can appreciate that about yourself. You didn't just compliment me or each other, you complimented yourselves as well. So be mindful of what you said. Maybe when you go back to the recording and you listen again, hear what you've said, because that is within you. Cool. Cool. Okay, now I just want to go back to my presentation. All right, so I wanted to do a little something with the speakers to say thank you. So I'm going to do it for the purpose of, Casper's here, but for the purpose of also the others which we'll watch later on the video. Let me just get this. So this is the speakers we've had so far, and has contributed hugely to the success of Mindful Wednesdays and the growth in everyone that has had the privilege to watch these guys speak. So I'm going to mention each one by name and just a heartfelt thank you on behalf of Mindful Wednesdays and everybody that participates. Chris Fourie, for your speech anxiety and stress. Venice, I'm not sure if I'm saying her surname correctly, but Hermanos, for her speech on grief. Kirsten, aka Wildflower, for her creativity and a speech on self-love. Adri Jansen van Vieren for her contribution on boundaries. Willem Goos for his entrepreneurial wisdom. Casper, yourself, for overcoming the pandemic. And Olia Varankova, sorry if I said that wrong, nutrition and brain health. Vivian Hanmer for her relationship and sexual health. And then I've done the inside out, gratitude and vision. So I just kind of fill in the blanks. But I just wanted to say to these people that you've really made a difference in a huge way, more than what you could realize. And for that, Mindful Wednesdays has kind of done a little sneaky, just a small token of our appreciation, a very small token of our appreciation. We have given you kind of like a little something, gifts that include 30% off Aphrodite Essence products, 30% off Wellness Day at Replay Zoo Farm, and a free Pilates online group class. So hopefully we can all get together and try some Pilates. That'll be really cool in terms of a vibe. I think would be awesome. So yeah, that was my little thing on gratitude, and hopefully you guys feel appreciated by all of us at Mindful Wednesdays. And that is me. So I'm going to stop sharing and we can continue. Are there any questions or anything that you guys have on gratitude or something you'd like to say?
Yes, Candice. I think gratitude is such a big thing. Like I said earlier, for personal growth and for just for me, I believe that every person have some sort of a vibration that you or your aura, whatever the people can call it. So if you have a gratitude mind or a gratitude living or whatever you can call it, your vibration will somehow lift up to a certain point, like the people in the room will pick it up, and from that point you can change the atmosphere in the room, you can change the people around you just with the attitude of gratitude. So yeah, it is for me very important to have a gratitude living, to like you said before you go to bed, say thank you for everything you have today or whatever. And sometimes when you have a difficult situation, I mean, you can learn out of that situation and be grateful for that. Maybe someone or something happened during the day, and in that specific problem, you can learn something, and you must be grateful for that because it's just a learning curve. So they said there's no such thing as failure. It is only what you call it. It's just a learning curve.
Yeah.
So you must be grateful for that, even if it is a bad time or something like that. I mean, be grateful for everything. Is
No, absolutely. I was speaking to someone the other day about no such thing as failure, only feedback, and you could see the eyes
feedback.
like, oh, like no, it's if you seemingly fail, it's okay. It's just telling you that maybe you can go this way or that way. It's a lesson.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely.
Yeah, just a stepping stone. Yes. Yes. Most definitely.
Can I add to something that Casper said there? So, like, even for me, when I started changing my attitude to a lot of things, so if something previously didn't work out, I would get myself so down and depressed about it. When I started to learn this culture of learning to be grateful for my experiences, good and bad. Let's say, for example, and it happened to me before where I went for a job interview. I never got that job. And I would knock myself and I'm like, no, why didn't I get it? But when I landed the job that I'm in now, for example, I always say I'm so grateful that door closed because it wasn't going to take me off the path that I needed to be on to get the job that I'm at. So I always try and take everything with a pinch of gratitude. I can still be disappointed because nobody's perfect and nobody's going to be positive and happy all the time. You can still have a little bit of disappointment, but if you can just be grateful, like you say, for that experience and also grateful for the learnings out of that experience that you can take forward with you. I'm also very much like Casper. I also believe a lot in vibrational energy. And things like that. So, if I can be grateful for the small things that I have. So, if a person has a 1-bedroom house with a roof over their head, they can be the happiest person in comparison to someone who lives in a mansion the size of a hotel. It's just about the things that you are grateful for, because if you are forever chasing the next best thing, you're not grateful for what you have in the now, right now, your family, your health, a roof over your head, a piece of bread on your plate, and you're always chasing something that someone else has, you will never be happy. Doesn't matter how much you have, if you can't settle or understand that you need to be grateful for your path, your journey, your opportunities, your things, you will never be happy because you're always trying to live in somebody else's shoes. So that's just what I wanted to add.
Yeah, no, for sure. Everybody has a vibration of their own as well in their unique way. We're all unique. So living in, with someone else's, when you compare yourself to others, and I mean, they're really, at the end of the day, you're always going to be put down in that situation because it's not who you are. And you need to appreciate who you are and the little things that give it to you. And to say that force, that gratitude energy is actually, you can literally feel it. you can feel the change in you. It's a very powerful energy.
Yes, most definitely. And even if you say thank you to someone for something small, you can see how that person appreciate the way you say it, or maybe and that energy you put in the room or whatever. I mean, it somewhere enlightens the whole room.
Yeah.
So even if it's a small thing, just say thank you to the person for whatever he did, and you can uplift his life as well, because maybe he had a bad day, and just saying thank you for a small thing. I mean, it is maybe just the words you want to hear today, and you went to bed happy just because of the small gratitude you gave him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. I mean, for us as persons and individuals, you must have a living, or you have to live a life of gratitude, and you will change somebody else's life because of that.
Yeah.
So yes, and we need each other.
And hopefully we can be kinder to each other, especially nowadays, and lift each other up by saying thank you to each other, because it is tough, but it doesn't have to be, it can be a higher vibration even if it is tough. It doesn't need to be a low vibration.
Yeah. And you will lift your vibration by just saying thank you and getting into a habit of saying thank you.
Absolutely.
I mean, we normally don't say thank you to all of the things, but I mean there will be small things you can say thank you to, and it will lift your vibration. Everything is.
Lekker. Are you guys following the gratitude on the WhatsApp group?
Yes, if I have time, I can quickly look at it. So yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's lekker. I'm enjoying that one.
Yes.
Cool, guys. So you guys then have an awesome evening. I'll send you the recording, or I'll put it on the group, and then you guys, you've got access to it, so you can go through it again and share it whenever you feel in your heart.
Thank you, guys. Thank you both
Thank
so
you,
much.
Candice.
Cool, man. Enjoy.
Yes,
Have
thank
fun.
you. Okay, Michelle,
Bye.
have a nice evening.
Ciao. Bye.
Bye.